Welcome back. It's time for me to solve some more chess puzzles, so hang in there. Let's see if we can't figure some stuff out here. Okay, I have a large battery of opponent pieces coming toward my king. Let's see. I have no idea what to do. I thought briefly about something like this, challenging their queen, which would open up this bishop toward this bishop, and I don't know, that's probably not right, because let's see. If I take the rook, I assume they're going to take my queen, and then I'm going to take their queen, and they're going to take my rook. Or what about pushing this pawn? Wait, what if I take the rook first? Oh, that was it. And now instead of taking back, what if I bring, what if I bring this rook over here? I guess they could take my queen at that point, but then I could take back with the knight. But then they would checkmate me on the back rank. So I think I should take the queen. And then when they capture my queen back, what do I have? Not a lot. But yeah, I think if I go over here with my rook, I think they take my queen at that point. Oh, but then I could take their rook first with a check, and when they move out of check, then I would get their queen. All right. Okay, I'm pretty proud of that. I didn't think I was going to do that well on that one. The theme is back rank. Sure. Knight outpost. I think so. Pin. Oh, you can actually see the themes this time right there next to my camera view. You see them? Right there is the themes listed. Okay. That's because I moved my camera view just a little bit. Okay. Oh, and Zwischenzug. The bottom one right there. Zwischenzug. I don't know what that means. Okay, next. Oh, and 2317. That's tied for my highest puzzle rating ever. Okay. Again with the batteries. My opponents love batteries, especially in puzzles. Let's see. I mean, I have a really weak little battery here of my own, but it's not pointing at anything. Their battery has mistakenly got their queen in front. I think that's a mistake. But I mean, the only check that I actually have, the only checks that I actually have are those two. I think checking with the queen is a bad idea because the king would just recapture, pretty sure, and then I don't have anything to follow that with. And I think checking with the knight is not as bad. Because if the pawn recaptures, my battery then is pointing at something. It's going to be pointing at the king with check. So let's follow that one out. Check on e3. Knight captures e3 check. They don't have to take back. I guess they don't have to. They could just move out of check. But if they move out of check, I would have a follow-up check. And then they couldn't go back. And if they tried to block with the pawn, I would capture it because my knight would be guarding that square, and that would be mate. So check. I assume they would take with the pawn. Then I would have check here. Rook to c2 check. And same thing, Not the same thing now. Because now if they got out of check to h3 and I went forward to check them, then the pawn blockage would actually work because my knight wouldn't be there. But then I could take their knight with check. So I think that actually might be my first best move. Oh, it was, and they did take. Okay, so I don't see anything better than that. Okay, and it did move there. They're here. There's only, well, there's two more checks. I mean, that doesn't seem right. I think it has to be queen to f5 check. If they block with the pawn, then I take the knight. If they move out of check here, then it's a little more tricky. Oh, then I take the pawn with the rook. What? Oh my. Well, that was wrong. And I lost 6 points, even though I got the first two moves right. Usually, what was the next move? Oh, was it now taking the knight? And then they just took my rook with their queen. I wasn't expecting that, but I think I would just take it back. Okay, this is one I'm going to look at the analysis board. Okay, it is showing on the screen. So the first move of the puzzle was building their mostly useless battery down the side, and I say mostly useless because the queen is leading it. You're going to lose your queen for a pawn and a rook, so that doesn't make sense. So I made the correct first move, and they took back, and I made the correct second move, and somehow still lost points, even though usually once you get a move or two correct, you don't lose points. The king did go to h3, and I went here. That's not even listed as one of the top 3 moves. You see that, right? That's the top move, the only one that doesn't lose my advantage. It's -7 if I take the knight. Rook 8 to c7. That's my second best move, but it gives white a slight advantage. And that's my third best move, giving white a slight advantage. What would have happened? Oh, the rook. Oh my goodness. No wonder that was bad. Well, what if, back here, what if instead of taking my knight, the king had gone there? What would I have done then? It says then my best move would have been G5 or queen takes F3. Because, yeah, I was missing the rook the whole time. Oh, my goodness. Okay. But, yeah, that's why the puzzle didn't go that direction, because these moves have about equal weight. And puzzles don't go to places where 2 moves are equal. Okay, so that's why here the pawn took my knight, and I made the correct move. They went there, and then I had to take the knight. And this is their third best move. You see that, right? The puzzle blundered again here. Not only was the first move that they made a blunder, building the battery, but this is a blunder in the near the end of the puzzle, because it says their actual best move is queen to f1, which is back here. The reason the puzzle didn't go that direction is because that gives me multiple decent options, either queen capturing the e-pawn or putting the rook against the queen, or even just escaping my queen out to this way. Okay, so the puzzle didn't go that way. The puzzle went this way, which surprised me, and then I took with the rook. All right, I see why my move there was horrible. Okay. Well, now I'm at 23-11. Well, that doesn't look good. They're threatening my knight with a pawn, and also threatening with a knight, and threatening it with a rook, and threatening it with another rook, and threatening it with a queen. Do these people not like horses? Look at that. Poor knight. And if I move it, then they're going to start barreling through here. But no, because they only have 2 attackers on e5. And I have 2 defenders on e5. So I think if I'm going to lose the knight anyway, I should take it. I should take stuff out with me, is my thinking. Like here, for example. Should I go there with my knight to c5, which threatens the queen? And then if they attack here with this rook, I will attack back with my rook. And then if they... Oh, no, if I do that, then they are aiming at my queen. And if they take my queen, and if I take back, then they come down here. Okay, so that's not great. What if I went there? It wins a pawn, and from there protects my queen. Nope, that wasn't it. Okay, was it here? Nope. Was it something else entirely? Oh, it was taking their knight. Okay, that probably makes sense because... No, it doesn't. That doesn't make sense at all. I thought I said I was going to say it makes sense because I come out a piece ahead, but I don't because it's their turn. What? This is why sometimes I feel like I'm not learning anything. Other times I am. Okay, so their first move, I have a very slight advantage here according to Stockfish. And their first move was to move that pawn. Well, that gives me a stronger advantage, but only if I take the knight. That was one possibility, but if I take that pawn, then they're going to get my knight. So only if I take this. Okay. And now it's -4. And I here I think obviously they would take this, so they did. Wait, in the puzzle here I took the rook. Didn't I? I mean the queen. Oh no, sorry. That's not what they did in the puzzle. Sorry, I messed up. What they did in the puzzle was took here. Okay. And then I took back. Then they took... Okay, Stockfish can't decide if it's better for the queen to take the knight or the queen. It says it's starting to settle on this one. So it picked this one. And in that case, my best move was to take back, which I understand. And now... That's not their... Okay, that is their best move. Nope. This is their best move now. Well, because they're gonna be able to take the knight after that, right? This is where the puzzle ended, but let's say they did this, and I move out, and then they're gonna take my knight. So now we're even on material. Right? I'm up 1 pawn, but I was up a pawn at the beginning. And then I would take this, I think. And wouldn't they go here and then start wiping out my pawns too? I'm sorry, I can't figure out why I'm ahead other than their pawn structure's a little messed up and my king is a little safer than theirs. Is it really, I mean, those two small things are a -5? It says they wouldn't even play this now. It's now changed its mind. King to g2 is best. Okay, well then I would just whack off that pawn, right? Well, that sounded bad. I meant, you know, chop off that pawn. Okay. And then they would go here. And then I would, okay. I guess I am seeing now why I had an advantage at the end of that puzzle, but okay. Well, at least I think I played a couple of those faster, but then I wasted time on the evaluations. If I move this bishop back, I'm threatening mate, right? Threatening checkmate down here. Do they have any defense against that? Because checks don't work right now. Well, that's not a check. That's a check. I lose a queen. That's a check. I lose a queen. Ooh, that's a check. Didn't even see that at first. That is a check, which they can block by pushing up their f-pawn. So no. I still think it would be better to go here, threatening mate on h7. What can they do about that? They can't guard that with their rook, because rooks don't move that way. What can they do? I guess they could push that pawn forward, but then I would just take it, wouldn't I? Oh, that was it. And that was what they did. And then, okay, that's not mate anymore. But I think it's still the best move, isn't it? Queen to h7 check, protected by my bishop, forces the king out here to f6. And then I would capture the h-pawn with check, I think. Because again, if I check this way, they block that with the pawn. If I check this way, they can block that with the bishop, which is protected by both the pawn and the queen. So I think that might be my best move, forcing the king out. Oh, it ends there. Okay. Oh, well, I'm back to 2302. All right. Well, 2300 seems to be my level of ability to do puzzles. Okay. You see that, right? My opponent has a whole bunch of pieces left. What? A lot of pieces. I thought about doing this, but that would be silly, wouldn't it? Because that would be checkmate. Okay, so I'm not going to put my rook there just yet. But I would like to put my rook there after checking their king. Because the queen's going to move when I check. But I'm not going to check there because their bishop is guarding the corner. So what if I checked on g1? I think their only legal move would be to block with the queen. Then I would check with the rook on e8. Which, I mean, they could block with the bishop, but I would take it. Then the king would have to move, and then I would take the queen, and it would be checkmate. That's my plan. I thought I did that pretty fast, but I only got 5 points for it. Oh, that one doesn't have a theme. How many moves was that? 1, 2, 3, 4. Mate and 3 plus. Okay. Oh, and then the little drop-down menu doesn't show up on the video. I really don't know why that doesn't happen. But you see that I've added a theme, mate in 3 plus. Okay. What is it with drop-down menus? The little menus that pop out when you click on stuff. The video can't see it. I thought the video was just showing what's on my screen. I guess it's not. There's probably a way around that, but I'm not that technically adept. Okay. I don't know if they've just captured a piece there or if they moved there to protect this pawn. But it looks like I have check. Whoops, not there. It looks like I have check on e1. But then the king just hides. Whoops. Wow. What is it with me and arrows today? If I check on g1, e1, the king just hides on g2. And then my bishop's unprotected. That pawn is pinned. Nice. So this is probably my best move. It was not. What was my best move? The hint. Okay, now the hint button came up. Oh. I was looking at the weak king and not seeing that the queen over here was undefended. So let's retry that. Okay, the king took my rook there. I saw it just in time. There was a rook down there. Okay, so I sacrificed a rook to get the king there. I have to see that this queen is undefended, and my queen is pointing at it. And for the cost of a bishop, I can win their queen. Okay. And then we're in a queen and rook endgame, which is winning for black, but at least at my level of understanding is difficult to win. All right, well, as you can see from the little graph, my rating is going downward. Further and further downward. It's very sad. All right. Well, our queens are off the board. Our material is even. We both have 2 bishops. We both have 1 knight. We both have 2 rooks. And their bishop is pointing at my rook. So, what do we have? I mean, I do have a check, but yes, they could capture me. Wait, no, if they capture me, then isn't that mate? They would go, if they went back, I would just take it. And that would be mate. Okay, so maybe that's it. Knight to f7, check. But they don't have to take. They could just move over. But then they've lined up with my bishop. And then I can take this this bishop for free in check again. And they have to move back at that point or block with something. And that eliminates the problem of them pointing their bishop at my rook. I'm going to try that. Well, they just took it. Okay, well, that leaves open this whole thing that we already talked about. And I think now I can just take the rook, and I'm threatening mate again, and it doesn't matter if they take my rook. Oh. They've protected this through me because this rook guards that square if my rook moves over there. See, that rook can't see this knight right now, but if I move my rook over there, then their rook will be able to see my rook. Okay, well, should I take the rook and then they get my bishop and then move my rook? I don't know. Because I thought I had a mate threat, but I do not. They found the answer. That stops mate. Because it gets out of the way of the rook. Okay, well, right now I'm temporarily up in exchange the knight for the rook. If I take this rook, then I'm up in exchange and a rook. But they take this rook, then. Oh, and then I get their bishop too. Okay. Oh, and it just ends there. Okay. Oh, 2,300. Can I get back above wherever I ended the last puzzle? My last video? Oh no, I don't remember what I ended that at. Let me go check. It says it was 2312. So I have to solve at least 3 puzzles at the rate that I go to get there. All right, I'm down material. Again, down material, and they've blocked my passed pawn. All right, let me move that. Whoops, removing the wrong thing. Let me move that down so it's not in the way of the thing. Okay. Nothing is really sticking out for me as being a good idea here. If I move my rook off of the c-file, they take this. Unless I move the rook off the c-file with check, which I can't do. So I can't move the rook off the c-file right now with check. And if I move it off the c-file for any other reason, they take this pawn. And that's my only advantage right now, I think. So like if I went here to attack their A pawn, well, they're going to take this and protect their A pawn. If I go over to the H file to hit their H pawn, they're going to take. And then, yeah, I would get their H pawn, but then they're going to have a check. Oh, no, that's their king. Wow. They're going to have a check here. And if I just make like a waiting move, like moving my rook, they've got 2 passed pawns over here. How is there a move here that's winning for black? If I go to try to attack this pawn with my king, oops, I lose my E pawn. And then pretty soon thereafter, I'm going to lose my F pawn. And then they're going to have, all their pawns are going to be passed. So I have identified several facets of this position, but I apparently have not identified or noticed at least one facet of this position, because it wouldn't be a puzzle if there wasn't something good for me. If I check, they take it. Is it, wait, is it, what's the name of that Z word? Is it Zugzwang, where I can make like a waiting move and then they don't have any good moves? No, they do have a good move. We already answered that question. Well, I don't know why their A pawn would only move 1 square. It would move 2 squares, probably. But they have 3 passed pawns. I have to leave the rook on the C file, as far as I can tell, to guard the C pawn. I have to leave the king either here or here to guard my E pawn, which is the only thing protecting my F pawn. So I'm not sure. Let me think about this. Okay, it's a good thing I paused there. I got a phone call just about that time, but yeah, I see nothing. So I'm going to fail this puzzle too. Because I have to make a move or quit, right? And I'm not a quitter. So I'm going to make a move and it's going to be bad. That's frustrating. Very frustrating. Even if I did something like this to threaten the bishop, right? The rook has to stay on this file, doesn't it? And I'm not going to be actually threatening the bishop, because the bishop will be defended after I move off this file. I can't move my king closer because that's not the way kings work. I can't go toward that pawn because I lose this one. And then if I do actually take that pawn, I'm going to lose that one. And then I can't get to the F pawn because my king is blocked off by their king. But I mean, it's a king move or a rook move, right? None of those pieces can move. So it's something with the rook or something with the king. But the king has no, I mean, the only good move the king has is here. Is that it? Aren't they then just going to push a pawn? No, that wasn't it. Okay, what was it? Hint. It was a rook move. Oh my. Oh my. I see it. My king is protecting these 2 squares, and the pawn is guarding that square and that one, and the other pawn's guarding that square. The king is trapped if I move my rook over, and then it doesn't matter if they take the pawn because that's mate. Oh my goodness. Well, we're at 30 minutes, and I'm a ridiculous number of points down from where I started. It's very depressing. If I take the knight, they're going to take back, right? And then I can't move my queen anywhere, like say to take this, because they would have checkmate on the back rank. So and if I don't move my queen, they're going to take it. If I don't move my queen or take that, they're going to take my queen. That part I am well aware of. What I don't see is a way out of it. I mean, I don't have any checks. This is pretty bad, guys. I'm getting depressed because I'm about to end this puzzle like 40 points lower than where I started. I was thinking about that because then I actually stand a chance of winning the knight. But then I'm off the back rank, and where's the knight gonna go? Like over here? And then I guess they're not technically threatening mate at that point, but they're getting pretty close. I mean, I could guard that. But or here, queen to b6. That doesn't threaten anything. I mean, other than taking this. Then wouldn't the knight just go back where it came from? And then I'm no longer protecting that square on the back rank? What about here, where both my pieces would be hitting the knight? What about here, where both pieces would be hitting the knight? And then if it moves, I'm hitting the queen. No idea. How was that different from here? Oh. I see it. The reason that c8 was bad was because the knight could then fork me and win my queen. So this is where I was supposed to go. Then the queen was just going to go over there. I'm not sure why it went over there, and then I would just take the knight. No, because if I took the knight, they would have mate. No, they wouldn't. I would block it. Okay, that was a big blunder, giving me the advantage, but only if I go there. d7 was my next best move, which maintained about equality, and queen to f8 maintained equality, according to Stockfish, which you should be able to see up there on the above me somewhere. Okay, so if I did this, that's really their best move? It is not. Oh, no. Sometimes Stockfish thinks it is. It's thinking about it. Yeah. Oh, okay. That was their best move. That's interesting. And it's their best move because it leaves me with only one good move. I have to know that when I take this, I can get back and guard. And now their best move is to go here, because it leaves me only one option. That's only one legal move, is to block. And then their best move is to take. And obviously I take back because that's my only legal move. And then I'm just up because I have a bishop. So I should be able to cut off those pawns. All right. I don't even know if I want to put this on YouTube. This is so depressing. Oh, and I'm down a whole piece now. I'm black and I'm going that way. What in the world? Okay, well, they're about to get this pawn, but I can't do anything about that. I mean, can I? I can't move it. I can't protect it. So I have to ignore that, let them have this pawn. And then they have this one that's just, right? After they take this pawn, they have 1, 2, 3 moves to queen. I have 2 moves to queen if that pesky knight weren't in the way. Let's see, if I played b4 and they took, and then I went forward, they can get back in time. And then my king can't get around my own pawn because the knight's guarding those squares. Makes me wonder if I shouldn't bring my king now. Nope, I should not. I should push that pawn. And then this pawn. Oh, and then this pawn. I get it, because now if they take, there's that. Now I can threaten the knight. Ooh, do I promote? No. If I promote, they take it. And when I take back, they get a queen. So do I take it? I take it and then they promote. If I promote, they take me, and I'm 2 squares away from promotion. Right, that was it? What's going to happen after they get a queen before me? I'm not getting my queen with check. Are you serious? It's not even going to tell me? Wait, that was their worst move? What was their best move? Their best move was knight to b4. Interesting. That's the only move for them that maintained equality at that time. It blockades this pawn. It blockades my b pawn and aims at that square, so I can't push that pawn. That was their best move. And their knight here would also keep my king from trying to sneak around this pawn. But then I would have just pushed that one, right? If they had done this, wouldn't I? Noah says if I had pushed that, that would have given them advantage. Oh, because they would have taken it. And then I would have taken their knight. Then they would have played here. And I would be 4 squares from promotion. But remember, they're 1, 2, 3, 4 from promotion themselves. So why wouldn't I play this? And then they would take this, and then I would play that. And then I would get a queen first. So how are they ahead? Just because they have another pawn? Only move that maintains equality is king to d3. Well, I would lose that endgame for sure. Okay, but back to what actually happened. They did this, and I only had one move that worked, and it was to push this pawn. And a -5. And they take this. And my best move is to play here, trying to distract that knight so I can promote. And Stockfish says that their best move is to take it. By far. -12 to take it. But what they played in the puzzle was this, which is -25. Oh no, it's only -9 if they take it now. So if they had taken, then I would have promoted. That's what I thought. And I would be way ahead. But they didn't take. They did this instead. And they did that because I don't know why they did that instead of their best move. But now I still can't promote because then I lose the race. So I have to play b3. Which, isn't that what I did play? And here, their best move is knight to c3, which allows my c-pawn to promote. But they didn't play that. Their next best move is knight to c1, and they didn't play that. Their next best move is knight to b4, and they didn't play that. In the puzzle, they played here. And I took their knight, and it ended. The puzzle just ended right there. I don't understand. You can see Stockfish saying it's minus 153 if they promote now, which is their best move. And then, of course, I would promote either one of these. It says it doesn't matter which one I would promote. I assume the A pawn because I mean, why not? Now, why aren't they going to check me? It says that's their second best move. Okay. Sorry, I don't understand why I'm so far ahead. Why am I so far ahead? Because they don't have any checks. They don't have any safe checks. Those are their only checks. I guess. Their best move is queen to h4. And my best move is to promote another queen. Oh, is that why I had such a huge advantage? Because I could get two queens? But now they can check me. And I just move out of check. And they can check me again. And then it wants me to repeat. It wants me to repeat. And then, why wouldn't they check me again here? Stockfish still wants me to repeat and says I have mate in 15. That's a draw. Stockfish wants me to draw, and it says I have mate in 15. I do not have mate in 15 if we draw by repetition. Okay, I'm actually upset now. I'm mad right now because that's BS. I mean, I failed the puzzle fair and square because I made the wrong move, but I don't understand how that leaves me with the advantage because they're going to queen first and then they're going to have perpetual check over here. I have no idea at all. Again. My bishop's hanging. The pawn is hanging. This bishop is hanging. Do people actually play like this where they just put all their pieces in danger? I try not to. I mean, I could go there. Nope. Oh my god. That puzzle's rated 1729. Okay. How does that help? It's not really winning a bishop. I just gave up a bishop. And another one. Oh no, I get this knight. Okay. See, that's why the puzzle shouldn't stop. The puzzle shouldn't stop here, because it made me think I just gained a bishop for a bishop. That's an even trade. Well, okay, I got a pawn too. I want a pawn in this puzzle. But once they move out of check, I can win the knight, and the puzzle stops before that happens. All right, well, I'm at whatever rating it says I am, 2334, so I've lost, I don't know, 100 and... No. Wow, my math's way off. I was at 2312, so whatever that difference is. All right, well, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.